Thank you for joining of Two Mindsets. This is D Hill, and we have a special production tonight. We're doing a little bit something different. I think I want to call it folks, because what we're doing is looking for people with interesting stories to tell that might not be something you've heard of before, and people with different jobs, things of that sort. Well, we have a very special guest here tonight, but we're going to start off with introducing a man who needs no introduction to those of us who listen and watch regularly. Mr. RJ, how you doing tonight?
Doing well, doing well. Greetings. Greetings. How you doing today, D Hill?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you coming on and joining us for this new initiative that we're doing.
All right.
And we have with us today a special guest, Mr. Victor Shoemate. Victor, how's it going, sir?
Pretty good, pretty good. How's it going with y'all?
Doing well, doing well. And Victor is not only a guest, but he's a friend of the pod. He's someone that I have known, since for about 30 years, well, almost 30 years, right?
Almost 30. Next year it'll be 30, yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
95, yeah.
And how long have you known RJ? I bet you can't
Oh
answer
my
that.
goodness. I met him back in '03, I think.
Oh, three.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
'03.
Yeah, I
Wow.
was I
Yeah.
had just turned 10.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
That
Yeah.
Oh,
that is
oh
hilarious.
man.
hmm
You don't have to give away too much. What was the occasion when you two met? Because I don't.
It was my birthday party. I think he was friends with my parents and no.
Oh man, that is
Oh
funny.
man. That is fun. No, you just had something over your house. Everybody was just hanging out over your house.
This was at
Yeah.
my
Um,
house.
yeah, in
Okay,
Norcross. Yeah.
gotcha, gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, the reason we have asked Victor to be on today is because during the pandemic, or before the pandemic was really in full swing, Victor fell. I don't want to call you a victim, but you fell victim to illness that not many people know about, and we're going to get into that a little bit in the next few minutes. But did you know that? So you're a big Michael Jackson fan, right?
Yes. Love him.
How big of a Michael Jackson fan are you?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I still bump his music in the car at full blast.
Mm.
And I it usually transport me back into a time when I first heard each song
Right, right.
and I just jam. I mean, even whether I'm in the car, whether I'm in the gym, whether it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah,
just a huge, huge Michael Jackson fan. I'm such a Michael Jackson fan that when he passed, people that I hadn't spoken to in years um checked on me to see if I was all right.
I remember that. I remember you
Just to
telling me
make
that.
sure I was all right. Different
Mm.
people that I went to school with and stuff. They contacted me through Facebook or whatever, and they wanted to make sure I was all right because they remembered how much of a fan that I am.
Right.
So yeah, huge, huge MJ fan.
Well, the reason I asked that is because I was asking RJ beforehand if he knew that you were a Michael Jackson fan, and he just happens to be more of a Prince
I'm a
fan.
Prince fan. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
yeah.
so we were having a discussion.
Get my
Uh,
Michael Jackson stuff out of the closet.
I'm just stretching. I'm just stretching.
Wait, you show it again, RJ, and you got to talk. So,
No, you see the whole. There you go. Yeah.
Wow.
hmm
so
Wow.
RJ, you're saying that Prince is definitely a better artist than
In,
Michael
in my
Jackson.
in my musical opinion,
Wow.
I enjoyed Michael a whole lot. I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed Michael a whole lot. I mean,
Yeah.
the Jackson Five, the Jacksons, Michael on his own.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
love
yeah.
it all. But Prince, I can listen to Prince every single day.
Mm.
Yeah, every day I can listen to him. He's got
Wow.
such a range of music.
Hmm.
It's from jazz to funk to
I
a little
agree.
bit of hip hop. He's got everything. I'm not saying Michael Jackson doesn't. Michael Jackson does, but when he does it, it's more like a collaboration. You know what I'm saying? But Prince can do it on his own. He can, he can have Chuck D rapping, but he can do his own thing, and it's just I don't know. I do know. I just that's just my preference,
So
but
when you say Michael Jackson is more collaboration, you're talking about as far as having more people in the production of the music.
exactly. Whereas Prince
Okay.
does it all. You know what I'm saying? On his own.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Michael's
got
gonna
you.
need to get Quincy Jones involved or somebody like that to help him out a little bit.
Okay.
But nothing against Mike. I love Mike. Love Mike. Love Mike.
And you
But
two have Victor and RJ. You two have something else in common too. Where are you both from?
we're from the 203
Yes, indeedy.
CT
860.
860. Yeah.
Yes, indeedy. Yeah. Connecticut.
Hmm.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
The place where they have the best pizza.
Best pizza.
Best pizza, best grinders.
Best. That's right.
Um,
I've had
it
the
used it,
grinders,
it used
and
to be best Chinese food.
Yeah.
I agree. The grinder was pretty good. I think I had
Best.
one
I
or
would even
two.
say best seafood. I mean,
Oh yeah, oh
oh
yeah,
yeah.
oh, I mean, besides Massachusetts and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'd say yeah,
I
Yeah. You
got
go
oh
on the
yeah,
long wharf. Oh man, the seafood is just
yeah,
you.
mm.
yeah.
You're
We're
saying the
known.
seafood in
Oh wait.
Connecticut?
Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
oh yeah. The
I
lobster
don't.
rolls and stuff. Oh yeah,
The cold water. I mean, you can't get better than that.
yeah.
Right. Right. Okay.
Scallops and the clams. You
Oh
can't
yeah,
get stuff like that down here in this heat.
yep.
You can get shrimp, but it's funny because I really didn't even eat shrimp growing up. Not too much. It wasn't until I
Me either.
came down here in the South and started eating shrimp.
Hmm.
Um,
Same,
Really.
same.
yeah,
I'd say
really.
yeah, same,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
same
It
here.
was it was mostly clams and scallops. Oysters also, but rarely. And I guess it's just where you're from, where you're at.
Yeah.
We didn't eat shrimp a whole lot because they're not. You don't get shrimp in cold water.
I got you.
Mhm.
So
That's an educational fact. I didn't know that.
yeah. So
Okay, well
Yeah.
let's go ahead and get into it. So, Victor, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is because I think that what happened to you, like I said, a lot of people, well, I don't know anybody outside of you that this has happened to, but COVID is still going around. There are vaccines now, but would you like to start and tell us, like from the beginning, like the first couple of days of this happening to you? Tell us about your story if you want to start out with just the first couple of days, like when it started.
Well, the first couple of days, the first time I noticed anything was after uh, we caught COVID. By we, I mean my wife, daughter, and I caught COVID in November of 2020, and maybe by December. Um, well, let me go back. We caught COVID November 2020. I had a very mild case. My daughter had to be in the hospital for 4 days because she was dehydrated. She wasn't eating or drinking enough.
Wow.
And my
Right.
wife had a pretty bad case. But we quarantined, the 14 days at the time. And after that, I went back to work in December. Since it was Thanksgiving of 2020, I went back to work in December and felt fine.
Right.
Maybe later on in December, I noticed that my toes would get cold,
Mm.
and I couldn't do anything to warm them up. They would just be cold. So I would put on socks and extra socks, and sit in front of a heater, and nothing worked. So of
Right.
course I did what most people do, and I went on WebMD,
Okay.
put in my symptoms,
Right.
and that scared me more than what was actually going on because it
What?
seemed like I had everything that came up, diabetic neuropathy and this and all the other kind of stuff.
Wow.
And even after I looked that up, I waited maybe a week or so before I went to my doctor. Go to the doctor, and he run some tests. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He asked, because it went from my toes to my whole foot. He said,
Wow.
"Well, how long have you had your shoes?"
Mm.
And I said, "Doc, I know what sore feet feel like.
So he was saying
Th-
your shoes are too tight.
yeah, this is not a shoe issue. Yeah,
Right.
or they were
Right.
old.
Yeah.
And I said, this is not a shoe issue. So he recommended I go to a podiatrist
Mhm.
and a urologist because at the same time my feet started to get numb and cold, I started having what was called urinary hesitancy, where
Mm.
I would drink water all day and it would take, the longest, it would take maybe 30 seconds to a minute for anything to happen once I got, in the restroom.
Wow.
And that
Wow.
they call that urinary hesitancy once I got to urologist and he explained, what that was. Um, so it went from there to whole foot to urinary hesitancy to both feet feeling numb. So then by that time, it got to my right foot. I had to stop driving because
Mm.
I could not feel the pedal completely, and I didn't want to have to. I didn't want to
And
cause an accident.
if you can remember, how long of a time span was this from the
Between that,
initial symptoms to when
it
you
was
stopped
like
driving?
it was like uh, it was like 3 weeks.
Mm.
3 weeks. I'd
Wow.
say yeah, about 21 days. Yeah. Um, and I just had to stop driving, which meant I had to stop working. Um,
That's got to be
so I went out.
devastating.
Yes, it was. It was. It was. Yeah, it was. It was. It was a little scary. Because it also with that my left leg started to get weak,
Wow.
and the doctors, I went to different doctors and they could not figure out what was going on. They gave me some pills for neuropathy called gabapentin. Um, that didn't work, and so now it's January 2021. Um, I finally go to. Let me back up. I'm sorry. Let me
No
back
problem.
up.
But
I
Vic, let
okay.
me ask you real quick.
Yeah.
So during that time, so how often would you say you were going to the doctors? Was it like once a week, or were you waiting for like your symptoms to get worse, or how often were you seeing a doctor actually during
At
that time?
at first, from the first symptoms, I was just waiting.
Okay,
Um,
so that's
and
what we
just
do. We
and
right,
just yeah, just hoping things would, get better
right.
as far as my foot, just trying, like I said, I was wearing socks. I even started wearing socks to bed,
Mm.
which is something I don't do normally. And yeah, and I was just, hoping it would just get better. Like, maybe I'm gonna shake, maybe it's a bug or just something,
Yeah.
you know. And so, but from the time I started going to the doctor, it seemed like it was like once a week, um, seeing different doctors. And I finally went to the ER on February 3rd, 2021. And I'm thinking, I'm just going to be in and out. And
What
they're
what
going to,
prompt? Let me. Sorry for
oh, what,
interrupting. What
I'm sorry.
prompted you to go to the ER that day?
ER because I started having falls around the house. So my left leg was weak, getting weaker.
Wow.
Um, and so I could be walking 1 minute, and next thing you know, I'm on the floor because this leg would just give out, left leg, and my feet were completely numb at this time,
Mm.
so I couldn't feel the bottom of the floor.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't feel the floor, and I had a incident where I was trying to make it to the bathroom that February 3rd, 2021. And I had an accident all over myself. I urinated all over myself trying to get to the bathroom because my legs went out. I fell, and that's what prompted me to go to the emergency room that day.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't imagine that happening, and I'm sorry it happened to you. I know that was a scary feeling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. that was scary. And all I could think when I was on the floor was, um, I don't want my daughter to find me like this, because that was the morning she had to go to school.
Yeah.
And she
Mm.
was in high school at the time, 11th grade. And I'm just praying, let me just get up off this floor. So
Right.
I managed to get up off the floor, and I got some pants on, and I proceeded to go down the stairs. I had to scoot down the stairs because I couldn't walk.
Wow.
Scoot down the stairs, and my wife picked me up and took me to Emory.
Mm.
Now, this time, COVID 2021, they had the hospitals locked down where they would not allow anybody else except the patient in the hospital.
Let me stop you now. You're a pretty
Yeah,
big guy.
yeah.
When you say she picked you up, how
I'm sorry.
I'm just
She,
asking. I'm just
yeah,
asking.
I'm glad you said that. She did
Yeah.
not literally pick me up.
No, and I figured that.
She
Right.
got to the house, because at this point, yeah, I was bigger than what I am now. Um, I was able to scoot down the stairs and able to stand a little bit to get to the car. She parked right in front of the front door.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what I meant by picked up.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I got you.
but yeah, so we get to Emory, and I'm thinking, she's going to be able to come in with me and wait in the waiting room with me. But no, they had her drop me off, and she had to leave.
Yeah.
So the next time, well, I'm admitted to the hospital. The next time I see my wife, because they weren't allowing people in the hospital, was February 17th. So I
So
got I
two
got
two
admitted the
weeks.
13th. Yeah, I got admitted the third. I saw her the next time in person on the 17th.
And that because this was during the pandemic and
Yes,
they were not letting people into the hospitals at that time.
that's why.
A
That's why
lot of
they would
people might
only.
not remember that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they would only allow the patient in the hospital.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so on the 17th, by this time on the 17th, I can't walk at all. I can't even stand up by this time.
Mm.
So
Um,
what were they? What was going on? What were they doing were doing running tests? Were they giving you
they were running,
medicines?
they were running all kinds of tests. Um, they were consulting with other hospitals. They were consulting with John Hopkins. They were they were consulting with the Mayo Clinic. They were just consulting with other hospitals around the country because they could not figure out why I was getting worse in the hospital.
Hmm.
And they ran tests, every hour on hour, it seemed like. I was getting pricked with needles and blood draws and just, um, you know, just all different sorts of things. Um, whether it be EKGs or there's another test that tests your nerves. I can't remember the name of it right now. But yeah, so I'm just getting worse
Right.
in the hospital. It went from my toes where it started to
Right.
my foot to my left leg to my uh, right foot and right leg up to my arms and hands. So within a matter of weeks, I'm a total quadriplegic.
That's
Wow.
crazy. That's
I could
crazy.
not move my hands and arms. I could only move my neck in the hospital.
Wow.
Wow.
They had to put the nurse's call button. They had to clamp that to a pillow so I could call the nurse with my head. I could press on the pillow with my head to call them in if I needed anything.
No, I didn't know about all that, man. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And during this time, it was quite lonely,
Yeah, no.
and frustrating. And so I went through all the emotions. It seemed like grief.
You're right.
I went through, it was anger and um, I was trying to bargain and, Lord, if this happened, and, I was just, and I was angry at God. I was just,
I can
I,
imagine.
I, I took out my anger and frustration on God. I was like, how could you let this happen to me? I'm a good person. Just going through all the stages of grief, like I said.
Well, so I never thought about this, but were you able to make phone calls, or how did that work? Since you were during that time when you couldn't move anything but your head.
At that time, while I was at Emory, I had the nurses or the techs call anybody I needed to call. But at that time, I really didn't want to talk to anybody
Yeah,
because I was so angry and depressed. Um, yeah, but I had them call whoever I needed to call,
yeah.
which was usually my wife or my daughter.
Stupid question, but were they like holding the phone up to your head, or were you using the
They put it on speaker,
speakerphone? Okay, like
speaker
I
phone.
said,
Yeah.
stupid question.
No, it's not a stupid question. No, speaker question. No, speaker question. But no, it was speaker phone, and they did the same thing with my music because I happen to have my iPod with me, um, to listen to music, which helped. The music did help. Um, music is just everything to me.
Yeah,
No.
I'm with you on
Music
that.
is everything to me. I have to listen to music every single day.
Me too.
And during that time in the hospital, that's another thing that got me through. Um, I would say music was right up there with my faith as far as getting me through and changing my negative attitude that I had to a positive attitude, um,
Gotcha.
music.
Yeah. Let me
And
just say right
yeah,
quick, everybody, you're watching of Two Mindsets podcast, and we're talking to Victor Shoemate, who was struck into a quadriplegic for at least some while back in 2020, right?
2021.
2021 is when
Yeah.
you were fully paralyzed and
Mm-hmm.
in the hospital. If you would go ahead and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and please hit the like button. And we're going to try to bring you more of these interviews of people with interesting stories. Victor, when you were in the hospital, how long was it before they gave you some diagnosis or before they were certain about what was happening with you?
They they gave me a diagnosis probably 2 to 3 months in,
Mm-hmm.
and they were unsure about that diagnosis. So they knew it was a myelopathy. They put it under. They said it was an unspecified myelopathy. So in my chart, it says unspecified myelopathy because they didn't know exactly if it came from COVID for sure. They figured that it did because um, COVID weakens your immune system, and the myelopathy is when your nerves are attacked.
Mm-hmm.
My immune system attacked my nerves, which caused the paralysis. So that was the diagnosis that they gave me, and
Had you heard of
before that,
myelopathy before?
I had never heard of myelopathy. I had never heard of myelopathy, and since then, it seems like I've heard it, 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But
So when
yeah,
I tell people your story, the first thing they might ask is like, so they must not have taken the vaccine. But just to be clear, when you were diagnosed with COVID, there was no
we didn't. There
available
wasn't a
vaccine.
vaccine yet. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It was
Right.
that was 2020. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So after after I got that, I waited a whole almost a year to get the vaccine. About 8 months. About 8 months. I waited about 8 months to get the vaccine, and that was after I got home from the rehab that I went to, which is the Shepherd Center in Atlanta, which
so
is
you
the
were
best.
in Emory for 3 months,
Yep,
and then the Shepherd Center
for
for
two
two
months.
months. Tell us about the
Yeah,
Shepherd Center. What did they do there for those
Shepherd
months?
Center, man, they are the best rehabilitation place in the country. They have people coming from all over the country trying to get in the Shepherd Center because they have the best physical therapists and occupational therapists and just doctors and nurses and techs and just a great facility. The Shepherd Center is where um, I noticed some return in my fingers and hands. Um, maybe 3 months in, 3 to 4 months in.
So when
Um,
I didn't know that. So when you went from Emory to the Shepherd Center, you were still
oh
from
yeah,
the neck down paralyzed.
yeah, yep,
Gotcha.
yep, yep.
Wow.
So, but the Shepherd Center, and it was nothing that they did, per se, as far as to, bring some return back to my hands. I mean, that was just the body,
Yeah.
and I believe God. But that's where they just rehabilitated me as far as learning how to do simple things, as far as put my shirt on
Mm.
and hold a fork and hold a pen or pencil to write. Um, I had to learn how to hold a remote again, hold a remote
Wow.
control, because while I was there, they had to turn the remote, they had a straw that I would have to, sip from,
Yeah.
and it would turn the channel. I had a straw to call the nurses. I had a straw for my water. When I first started in the wheelchair, I had a sip and puff to make it go forward and turns and all that kind of stuff.
So they had you set up like Stephen Hawking in there.
They
I
really
didn't know
did.
that.
They really did. They
Wow.
had the patients. That's what they have, the patients who cannot do anything for themselves on
Mm.
that spinal floor, which is the fifth floor there. Um, they have all the different straws for you. Anything you need, it's a straw for it. But it was an humbling experience, because I go from being independent, doing everything for myself, being able to wash up and or shower and drive and work, and to have to go to where I cannot even clean myself,
Yeah.
where nurses and techs had to clean me, on a daily basis.
Wow.
Um, they had to brush my teeth for me. They had to wipe my face. They had to feed me. Um, there were times where, once I finally was able to get visitors, which was my wife and my brother, because you could only have two.
I see.
They would come in and they would feed me. They would bring, certain foods that I liked, which was a very short list as far as what I could have at the time. Um, and they would feed me, and they would, give me massages, and my brother would cut my hair and shave me, and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Right.
Um, but
Gives you a
yeah, it was
new
very, very,
appreciation of
very,
people.
very humbling experience.
I
To have different people shower you on a daily basis.
right.
And if they didn't shower you, you had a bed bath um, from different nurses and different techs.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a very, very humbling experience.
And that's the thing,
Very.
man, because this was it came because of COVID.
Yeah.
This is something that could happen to any of us.
Yeah.
I mean, you like I said, you were a big, healthy guy. You didn't live
Yeah.
any, I can say you lived a good life. You were not out there doing drugs. You're not a smoker.
Nope.
If it could happen to you, it could happen to anybody, and it still could.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought it was important, just to let people know, perhaps if they are having these symptoms, if they're hearing your story, don't wait. And of
Yeah.
course, your waiting didn't, I wouldn't say that was you doing wrong by waiting, but if you are having those symptoms, go get yourself checked out, right?
Hmm. Oh
That
yeah.
and that's why I thought your story was so important, and because it's so rare, but could happen to any of us.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm sorry, I mean
go
to
ahead,
cut you
Vic.
off. Vic, you mentioned music, and faith. So what helped you the most through this whole ordeal?
It was, like I said, it was music and faith. My faith. Um, I feel like, well, once I stopped being upset with God, um, I didn't start reading the Bible or anything at that time. Um, but I knew that He was there. I knew that He was. Um, I knew that He saw everything that was going on, and I just talked to Him, and I had a conversation with Him on more than one occasion, and a few people reminded me that, because I didn't want to talk to anybody else at the time, really, um, that's who I should go to. And yeah, it it turned my whole attitude around. God,
Mm,
He turned my, I was in a very dark, negative place when this started, and it went from, like positive, negative to positive, where I remember a doctor, she came by the room one day. She said, "Can I ask you something?" She said, how do she said, "Every time I come past or something, you seem like you're in a good mood. You're just smiling, or you're listening to music, or," and I told her I attributed that to my faith and
mhm.
my belief that it was going to get better. That there wasn't a time where I even considered that this might be permanent.
Mm.
Right.
Um,
Well,
because I thought
that's
about that.
true faith.
I said, did I ever go to a place where I thought this would be permanent? And I never went there. I
That's
knew it was
beautiful.
going to get better, but I didn't know when. I
Mhm.
didn't know how long it was going to be, and yeah, I just knew it was going to get better. I knew
That's
it was going to
beautiful,
get better.
man. In addition
Yeah.
to the loss of motion, tell us about the pain, if you don't mind.
Oh my goodness, the pain. Ooh, the pain. See, I didn't know so much about, being paralyzed.
Yeah.
I didn't know that when you're paralyzed, not only are your limbs paralyzed, but your bowels and bladder is also paralyzed.
Wow.
I had never even thought about how somebody in a wheelchair used the bathroom. I didn't know that you either have to use a catheter. Well, everybody has to use a catheter, men or women.
Mm.
Or you can get a colostomy bag if you don't want to do that. You can go in and have a colostomy bag, which my physical therapist tried to talk me into getting, but I didn't want to do that.
Right.
Um, but yeah, you have to use a catheter, which is inserted, or you have to do the bowel program at night in order to express your bowels every night.
Wow.
So I never even thought about that. And I never knew that such excruciating pain came along with being paralyzed for a lot of people. Not
Yeah.
every paralyzed person have the nerve pain that I have. Most do, but some don't. And a lot of us, will tell you that we can deal with being paralyzed, but if we could
Yeah.
just take the pain away,
Yeah.
because you're in constant pain, 24 hours a day,
Wow.
you know,
And that's no
24,
exaggeration, right?
24/7. No,
It's
no
no
exaggeration.
exaggeration.
No
Like
exaggeration.
like pain where? Pain where your limbs would be, or
Where
pain
your
like
limbs, yeah, where your limbs are either paralyzed totally, or where it's coming back, where you're getting, they call that return. They say you're getting some return. So at first, my one of my physical therapists thought it was because I was getting return that I was in so much pain, had so much nerve pain on a daily basis. But then we found out that even people who are paralyzed, they have the nerve pain. They can't feel anything except the nerve pain. And it could be
Wow.
from I would say, I'm not going to even say one, I'd say 4 to 10
That's the
because,
level of pain you're talking
yeah,
about.
yes.
Hmm.
And it's, and you try to just make it through each day. Um, you try to, have the desire to get out of bed and go about your day with that kind of nerve pain. Um,
So
and the gym also helps.
yeah,
I
that's what I
just
was
thought
about
about
to
that.
ask you. You've come a long way.
Yeah.
So you go to the gym. What else are you able to do now? And for the people, can we tell them you're in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
right? Let the people know all the things that you do
Yeah.
that perhaps they wouldn't expect.
We can show this wheelchair. You can see the wheelchair.
Yes,
Hmm.
sir.
Okay. Yeah. So it took almost 2 years for me to be able to drive again. Um, I had a great, I was fortunate enough to have a great support system,
Right.
which is my wife, my daughter, my brother, um, a good friend that's like a brother, which is D Hill, um, and my cousin, who was my great support system through all this. Um, and they all would take me to appointments, get me dressed, um, just make my food for me, bring me food, stop at McDonald's to give me my oatmeal, just do whatever I needed done. Get they were able to get me in my what is called a shower chair to take a shower and get me in, and wheel me in the bathroom with the shower wheelchair, um, so that I could take a shower. Uh, and when I was interested in getting stronger, I had my brother and cousin who was just so excited that I wanted to do that, and they didn't mind taking me to the gym whenever I wanted to go. And
That's awesome.
I tell people that I exercise more now, and I guess is out of I have to,
Yeah, I think
than when I was walking
you're at the gym a lot more than I am. I tell you that.
at the gym, and I would have never thought I would be a gym person where I wouldn't say a gym rat, but I don't think I'm that that bad, but yeah, I'm at the gym maybe 5 6 days a week,
Wow.
and that's not necessarily I'm not necessarily lifting weights those days. 3 of those days I'm lifting weights and doing cardio, on a machine. The other days I'm in the pool. So yeah, and the pool is my peaceful place because everybody knows you're lighter in the pool.
Right.
So in the pool, I can move my limbs easy. I can walk in the pool. I pretend to run in the pool. I jump in the pool. It just I look forward to going to the pool 3 days. I wish I could bump it up to four.
So
Um,
just so the people know, you now have some motion in your legs, right?
yes, yes, I am on the walker around the house. Um, I do it daily, and yeah, I'm strengthening my legs because I'm having to relearn how to um, connect the brain to the limbs.
But I'm
It's a
just,
lot.
but you're not at the gym running on the treadmill yet,
No, not yet, not yet, not yet. Now I'm in the recumbent.
like
It's like a seated elliptical.
Right.
like a seated elliptical. I'm pushing with my legs and I'm pulling with my arms. And I do that 3 times a week, maybe, yeah, 3 times a week. And yeah, like I said, I'm lifting light weights now. I'm not trying to get, you know, bulky, but I'm trying to slim down and tone and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, you know.
Right.
Just trying to get healthier, just trying to get thinking more about my health. This has also taught me that health is very important.
For sure.
I took it for granted. You take things for granted, and then when you get in a situation where you can't do anything for yourself, or somebody else have to wipe your behind, yeah,
Changes
it
perspective.
changes. It definitely changes perspective. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So health is very important to me now. I've changed my eating, not completely, not as much as I should, but for the most part, I eat pretty good. I eat pretty clean. Um, it's just that I have a sweet tooth, so I've got to get that under control. Got to get my sweet tooth under control. Yeah.
What do you expect in the next couple of years?
Oh man, I am. I want to live now. I don't no longer just want to be alive. This experience has really it's made it clear to you. You know, you hear and you probably say that, yeah, you only get one life. You only get one life, and you got to make. But you really get this hit me that you really do get one life. We get one life,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't believe that I'm coming back as something else, or for the, for those who do, fine. But um, it is taught. This has taught me you get one life, and you have to live. So I want to live. I want to do more things. As far as just being out, um, and I want to parasite. I want to.
Uh,
I want to scuba dive and get on a jet ski. I had that opportunity when we were in Greece a few years ago. Well, no, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I did not do it at the time, thinking, I'll do it another time. But yeah, I wish I had done it then.
yeah, man.
Um,
That's a great message.
but
One
yeah,
life,
it's one life, and
living now.
health is important.
I got you.
Health is important. Nothing without health is, I mean, nothing. You have nothing without health.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story. RJ, did you want to put anything else on Victor tonight?
No, just to recap, it's your story is very inspiring. It it's uplifting. It's a success story. You're not a finished product yet. You don't have the full use of your legs, but like you said, it's something that you're striving for, and
Oh yeah.
I think it's something that maybe hopefully will happen for you.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for you. So
Oh yeah.
I have
Oh
no
yeah.
doubt it's going to happen. You're
No
doing the
doubt.
work. I've
No
seen the
doubt.
progress, no doubt at all. For
yeah.
sure.
No doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, again, man, we definitely appreciate you coming on, and we're going to continue to talk and encourage each other. For those who are not members, we ask that you hit the subscribe button. You're watching Of Two Mindsets. We're talking to Victor Shoemate, and I hope you've learned something from his story. Please also hit the like button. And Victor, did you want to close out with anything else before we go?
No, I just yeah, just want to encourage people to um just live, don't just be alive, but just, live. We have to live, you know.
Yeah,
I love that. Love
I,
love that message. Love
I
that.
love that message too.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll say thank you for joining Two Mindsets. And I want you all to have a great day. Peace.